If I wrote you a symphony, just to say how much you mean to me, what would you do if I told you you were beautiful?
Okay guys, so the first step with installing the radar is actually to not get the radar, but to check to see if you can get the wires up to where you're putting your radar. So I'm going to put my radar up on my T-top, and to do the wires, I will be going through over to my T-top. So the wires are going to come up this tube, up into the T-top electronics box. And as you can see here, I have the wire tape here. It goes down into the tube and down into the head. Alright, so it goes down that tube into the head, and then the head, it comes out this hole right here. And once you make sure that the wires can actually get down into the where all your electronics are, then you can proceed to get the radar. So with installing a radar, what some of you guys might need is a radar stand. And to see how large of a stand you need, you can go on Simrad's website and find the installation manual, which shows you how tall a stand you need for how large a T-top you have. If your T-top is too large and you don't have a stand, it could block the radio signals and interfere with the performance of a radar. So in my case, I needed a 6-inch radar stand, and this is a aft leaning stand, so it'll go on like this and the radar goes on top. Alright, let's get this thing open. So, under list cover, we have the radar unit itself. On the side here, we have the Ethernet cable, it's a radar cable. The manuals, template, and the warranty information. And don't forget, there's also a small white box on this side, which contains your mounting hardware. Power cable, or radar cable. Hardware, and looks like a adapter cap or some sort. So this cable takes your Ethernet output and turns it into the radar input on your GPS unit. So inside the installation manual, it'll show you that you need to measure how long the longest side of the T-top is where you're mounting it from the radar. And on here it'll say, let's say your radar, this is all metric by the way, 1 meter, the farthest edge is 1 meter, which means you will need something like a 100mm stand. Now make sure to take a screenshot of this screen, because once you know this, when you buy a radar, you can buy your stand as well. And again, the stand I bought is the official stand recommended for the radar, which is Scanstrut. Okay, so for the Ethernet cable, you need to connect over to your 8-pin cable. So I have this adapter here. To install adapter, you need to first put on the waterproof connection boot. So on the boot here, you can see there's these 4 little small corners. That is for the Ethernet cable, which is a rectangular cable. So these corners need to line up with the corners of your cable head, so you can slide in through, like so. So after you slide that through, slide this piece that's hidden inside that. Slide it in. And here is a waterproof seal. Make sure to put the wire in towards the front of the cable. And they have cut a slit in this to slide it over easier. And falling just like that. And now you can take this, which has that little cable at the front. Make sure to face that forward with that, towards the back of here. And you can line up the HDMI cable with the slot inside. And now just twist it tight. So once everything is sealed tight, you can fit the cable back in. Plug this part in here and slide the cable over. Now you'll see instructions on the connector itself. Twist to lock, and the red O-ring is your seal. Okay, so the radar is working out during our test. So for the radar, I just placed at the bow first for testing for now. But for wiring it, we have a main interconnection cable. What comes out is the black Ethernet cable that connects over to the unit itself. And then we have the positive, negative, and the switch cable. So the switch cable just connect to the positive end of your switch, which is right here, the red wire. And then for your positive and negatives, you connect the positive to your fuse panel and the negative to the negative side of the fuse panel. And for this radar, the 5 amp, which was suggested by the manual, did not work. It had to be the 10 amp. And so on the unit itself, in order to have this radar pop out, you have to enable it in the settings. So you just go to advanced, and then features, and then radar right here. Radar, if you uncheck it, it'll still show that you have radar connected, but when you go to the homes page, you can't find the radar anywhere. So you must turn on that in the features. Advanced, features, radar. So now when it's checked, it'll say enabled, and here you go, radar. Okay, so we have the line puller right here, attach my ropes through. Now we're gonna do 2 ends, so once we pull it up there, we can cut the rope in half, so that way we have 1 to use for radar, and 1 reserved for anything else we're gonna add in the future. So we just go up to the electronics box where we have the line puller. Take that and pull everything out. So we got the line all pulled through, so we have 2 right here, just cut down in the middle. So we have 1 for radar and 1 for anything reserved for the future. Okay, so the first step of installing the mount is to drill your holes. Now when you're drilling your holes, you want to start off with a drill bit that's smaller than what you need. So I need a 5/16, so I'm going with a 3/16 for now. Now we come in with a bigger drill bit. So now that the 4 holes are drilled, we can confirm it by moving the stand over and put the bolts in to make sure everything fits. Once everything fits, we can draw the center line to put the lines through. Okay, so everything is set, and we can drill a hole that goes right through the middle, so that way we can run the cables through. So the center hole for the cable has been drilled, but that is not the correct size. That's a smaller size down. So now we're putting the correct size in. You don't want to drill too large of a hole at once, since they'll induce cracking. Okay, so once the holes have been drilled, first you need to take the leather seal for the cable, find the right rubber block, and attach this after rubber block. So now this can screw into the base using these small screws to seal the cable. Now to feed the wire, first we have to feed it through the stand. Once it's through the stand, we feed it through the pre-drilled hole into the electronics box. Once all the wire has been fed through the stand, you attach the stand block right here and align the screw holes and screw it on. This will create a watertight seal to prevent any water leaking through into your T-top cabin. Now to feed the wires through, but make sure to remember to put your element block, the seal, and the wires through that first. Now that all these wires are pulled through, we can proceed to secure the stand onto the roof. On the stand, make sure to preserve enough wire for the radar and line up the element seal right here with all the screw holes, and take your 4 bolts. And time to secure it to the roof. So when putting the bolt on, make sure to put these white spacers below the screw to prevent from damaging the middle. Like so. So once the bolts are screwed in, it should look like this. Top should look like this with the seal mat decompressed. And now to screw in a cable management clip. Since we're going to the center of a stand, 1 clip will be enough. Now the radar has been bolted on, and make sure to use every single washer included, and including the tower's plastic washer. And once we're done with the radar install, it's time to run the wires. When you attach the wires, take your rope and attach it to the white interconnection with the cable. And the rest of the wires that is how being pulled out, tape it to the main rope. So it's one streamline rope. Once the wires are pulled through, disconnect the pulling rope, and you're ready to connect the electronics and ready to go out.